Good morning, all of you. My name is Prashant, and welcome back to the digital platform of Bhavyam classes. Okay, today we will discuss the first topic of UPSC prelims in geography. The first topic is very essential and very important topic. This topic is physiographic division of India. Without understanding the physiographic division, you cannot form the relationship of different geographical factor with the land. Okay, to gain the basic knowledge, we will start with the Himalaya first, then we will go to different physiographic regions in different lectures. Okay, today we will discuss all about Himalaya and Himalayan physiography. Okay, so let's jump into the class. Okay, let's start. So we can divide India into different physiographic zones. First, we can divide it in Himalayan region. Second division can be the Great Plains. Third division is the Plateau region or the Deccan Plateau. Fourth division is arid or desert. Fifth division is the coastal belt. And the sixth division is the island groups. Okay, but in today's class we will discuss the basic and we will start with the Himalayas only. Okay, firstly we will discuss the basic concepts. Okay, and then I will link those concepts with the fact. Okay, so I hope you have know that how the Himalaya is formed. Actually, Himalaya is formed when the Asian plate is collided with the Indian plate. When Asian plate and Indian plate came closer to each other, when the Asian plate and the Indian plate came closer to each other, because the Indian plate is heavier, it go underneath the Asian plate, and the sediments present in the Tethys Sea compressed and form the Himalaya. Okay, so this is the basic theory of the formation of Himalaya. We have different theories, but the most acceptable theory is plate tectonic, or the explanation of Himalayas with the plate tectonic theory. So this is the convergent zone where two plates get converged. Okay, so the Indian plate go underneath the Asian plate, and the sediments present in this area compressed and form the Himalaya. So this is the basic theory. Then let's learn about the different ranges and different divisions of ranges in this. So we can divide whole Himalaya into two ways. First way is we can divide Himalaya into four parallel ranges. First is the Trans Himalaya. Second is the Greater Himalaya. Third is Middle or Lower Himalaya. And fourth is Shivaliks. Okay, this is first type of classification or division. Okay, we can divide Himalaya in this way, or we can divide Himalaya in different horizontal belts. Okay, like from Indus to Satluj, we can divide this area as Jammu and Kashmir hills or Jammu and Kashmir Himalaya. From Satluj to Kali, we can say Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalaya. From Kali to Tista, it is Nepal Himalaya. From Nepal Himalaya to Bhutan Himalaya, it is Sikkim Himalaya. And from Bhutan to Brahmaputra, it is Arunachal Himalaya. Okay, so we have Kashmir Himalaya, Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalaya, नेपाल हिमालय, सिक्किम हिमालय, भूटान हिमालय और अरुणाचल हिमालय. Okay, so this is the second type of division that we can do. So first type is on the basis of ranges, Trans Himalaya, Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya or Shivalik Himalaya, and second division is based on the region. Okay, so let's start the class with the first type of division, which is the ranges. Okay, here we will talk all about the different ranges. So before going to the facts, let's understand the basics, then we will build our facts on the basis. Okay, so first thing is Trans Himalaya. Trans Himalaya is the northernmost range of the Himalayas. Okay, Trans Himalaya is northernmost range, and it is believed that it formed before the Himalayas, and it is it also known as the Tibet Himalaya, because this region is lie in Tibet. Some of the this range continue till Tibet. Okay, that's why it is known as Tibet range as well. Okay, so in Trans Himalaya we have four ranges. In Trans Himalaya we have four ranges. First is the Karakoram range. This is the Karakoram range. Okay, this is the Karakoram range. Second range in this is Ladakh Himalaya. Third is Kailash Himalaya, and fourth is Zaskar. Okay, so we have four ranges in Trans Himalaya: the Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, and Kailash range. Okay, and these are northernmost, and some of the highest peaks are located here, like Mount K2. It is the highest point of India if we consider India as united, because it is present in the part of LOC. Okay, we have highest glaciers in this region, like we have Siachen glacier here. Okay, so this is the home of highest glaciers and loftiest valleys, or the valleys, like between the Pir Panjal and Zaskar we have the beautiful Kashmir Valley. Okay, so this is about Trans Himalaya. Let's move to the main and the highest range of Himalaya and most continuous range of Himalaya, which is the greatest Himalaya. Okay, in Greater Himalaya the height is very high. The average is more than 6,000 meters. Okay, and world's highest peaks are present here. More than 20 peaks are above 7,500 meters. Okay, and this is the continuous range and the highest range. So this range continues from here, Kashmir, till the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, Mount Everest is the highest peak, but other peaks are also present, like Kanchenjunga. Okay, the third range is the Middle Himalaya or Lesser Himalaya. Okay, don't confuse between Shivalik and Lesser Himalaya. Okay, Lesser Himalaya is just the name of Middle Himalaya. Okay, or Middle or Lesser Himalaya is same, but Shivalik is different. Okay, Lesser Himalaya is smaller than Greater Himalaya but higher than Shivaliks. Okay, or it is located in between Greater Himalaya and Shivaliks. In between the Greater Himalaya and Shivaliks we have Middle Himalaya. Okay, and Middle Himalaya is also continuous in nature. Okay, then we have Shivaliks. Shivaliks is the southernmost layer of Himalaya. Okay, and newest layer. Shivalik is still forming, and it is most recent and newest landform. Okay, in Himalayan ranges it is the newest and lowest range and the southernmost range of Himalayas. So Shivalik is almost continuous in nature, but it got discontinued in the valley of Tista. Tista river in Sikkim formed its valley and discontinued the Shivalik range by making its valley. That's why the Shivaliks is discontinue in Sikkim and form a gap of 50 to 80 kilometer. Okay, and Shivalik is known as different names in different regions. Okay, like Chur Himalaya, Chur range in Nepal, and Mir and Mikir range, Dafla, Miri, and Abor hills. Okay, it is just the name of Himalaya. It is Shivaliks. Okay, it is Shivaliks, and Shivalik is named differently in different regions. Okay, so this region it is known as Mikir, Dafla, Miri, or Abor hills. Okay. So I hope you have understood that what is great Trans Himalaya, what is Greater Himalaya, what is Middle Himalaya, and what is Shivaliks. Okay. Here we have some of the ranges like Karakoram. You have known that Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, and Kailash. 4 ranges are of Trans Himalaya. Then we have Greater Himalaya. Then we have Middle Himalaya. Then we have Shivaliks. Okay. Now let's move in some of the facts or some deeper perspective in Himalaya. Okay. So as you all know, Himalaya is the newest range and the loftiest range, and because its height is very high, it has very deep valleys, very beautiful valleys as well. It has dunes, okay, and gorgeous formation. Its distance is 24,000 kilometers. Okay. So if you see the formation of Himalaya, you can easily see that it is convex in shape. Okay, it is convex in shape. If you see from south, if you see from India, it is in convex shape. It is in this shape because when India is moving northward and get collide with the Asian plate, India is forced by 2 limbs. One is from Aravalli and second is from Assam hills. Okay. So the Assam hills and Aravalli pushed the Himalaya in 2 direction. Pushed it in 2 direction, in northwest or in northeast direction. Okay. That's why this portion go to north and this portion bulge back and form a U shape or a half circle. Okay, or a convex shape because it is forced by 2 different ranges in 2 direction, and this area is bulged back and form a arc. Okay, so I hope you are clear why its shape is convex, because it is forced by 2 different ranges from 2 sides. Okay, let's move. Okay, let's move to origin of Himalaya. So the Himalaya is formed out of Tethys Sea. Okay, we have 2 opinions. First is the classic theories, or second is modern theory. Both the theories accept that the formation of Himalayas is done by the Tethys Sea. Tethys Sea. What is Tethys Sea? Tethys Sea is the area or the ocean in between Asian plate and Indian plate. Okay. Suppose we have here Asian plate, here we have Asian plate, and in 120 million before, one part is known as the whole country, the whole world is divided into two parts, Laurasia and Gondwana land. Okay, this middle ocean, in between the Gondwana land and Laurasia is known as the Tethys Sea. Okay, when the Gondwana land broke into different parts, like it broke into Australia, like it broke into Africa and Indo-Australian belt, Indo-Australian plate. Okay, in starting, India and Australia is together in a single plate. Okay, when time pass, India and Australian plate is also divided. So when Indo-Australian plate start moving northward, okay, or the Asian plate, when Indo-Australian plate start moving, the land between Australian plate and Indian plate is decreasing, okay, is decreasing, and the Tethys Sea is also compressing, and the Tethys Sea also got compressed, and when it is moving further north, and when the Indian plate went under the Asian plate, because Indian plate is higher or denser, all the sediments present in this belt, all the sediments present in this sea got compressed in 4 different stages and formed the 4 different Himalayan range as we know today. Okay, these ranges are Trans Himalaya, Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, or Shivaliks. Okay, and researcher is saying that the formation of Himalaya is not end yet, and the movement is still continue, and movement is still continue because the height of some of the ranges is still increasing. Okay, Shivaliks is still increasing. The river is making different paths and meanders, or inside meanders. River is rejuvenating again. It is showing that the Himalayas is still progressing. The earthquake present in the Himalayan regions, the height of Mahabharata range is increasing very rapidly. These are the facts that is talking about the increase in the length of Himalaya, and this is showing that the Himalaya, origin of Himalaya is not stopped yet and still continue. Okay, so this way we can see the formation of Himalaya. See, this is the Indian plate, and this is the Asian plate, and this is the Tethys Sea above Indian and Australian plate. And in Tethys Sea, the sediments brought by the Indian rivers or the Asian rivers, the sediment is present. This is the sediment layer, 1, 2, 3, 4 sediments are present. When Indian plate is moving under Asian plate, this area got compressed. This area got compressed and started raising up. Okay, all the sediments which was present above the plate start compressing and start forming a layer. As you can see, there is a 4 layers. It is trans, it is greater, it is middle, and it is Shivalik. And this is the foreland or the behind land of the plate, which is also got compressed and formed the Tibetan plateau. Okay. I hope you are clear with the origin and formation of Himalaya. Okay. So the timing of origin of Himalaya is because the different ranges formed in different point of time. The starting or the trans or greater Himalayas is formed in between 70 million and 50 million years. The middle Himalaya is formed between 50 and 30 million years ago, and the lesser Himalaya is formed and it is still forming and recent in years around 2 million years ago. Okay. So as you can see, in about 120 million years ago, Laurasia and Gondwana land separated, and in between the sea is known as Tethys Sea. Tethys Sea is compressing by the northward movement of Indian plate, and Indian plate goes under the Asian plate, and the sediments present in the Tethys Sea or the above Indian plate got compressed and formed the Himalayas in 4 regions and in 4 time zones. Okay. Sediment at the floor of the Tethys Sea got compressed and formed the Himalayas. Okay. So now let's discuss some of the evidence which shows that the Himalaya is still in its younger stage and Himalaya is still raising up. So first thing is the height of the all ranges is started increasing rapidly, or we can see the increase in the height of Himalayas. So it is the evidence that the Himalaya is still forming. Okay. Because if the formation of Himalaya was stopped, the ranges wouldn't be increase. Okay. The ranges is increasing, which is the evidence that Himalaya is still forming. Some of the evidences like the earthquake, frequent earthquake in this zone showing that the plate is still moving. Okay. Himalayan rivers are still in its youthful stage like Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra. These are the oldest rivers, but still it is in the younger age because the speed of the rivers is very high, and we cannot see the high speed rivers in old stage mountain. Okay, like you cannot see the Aravali, you cannot see the high and fast flowing rivers in Aravali hills because Aravali is older range. So the fast flowing river is the evidence of the younger hills. Okay. So we can say we have 3 evidences in large, like first is raising height of different ranges very high, or Mahabharata range, you can take its example. Second thing is the frequently occurring earthquake in this zone. Okay. And different landslide is happening because of earthquake, because the plate is not stable and still forming. And third is the youthful stage and youthful topography of the land created by the rivers. Okay. So it is the second theory that we are talking about, that plate tectonic theory, and it was given by different scholars. It is not given by a single scholar, and the plate tectonic theory is itself is a mixture of different theories. Like plate tectonic theory started with the continental drift theory of Wagner. Then it developed into seafloor spreading. It took help of seafloor spreading, and then all the modern scientists came together and formed the plate tectonic theory. So different scholars worked in plate tectonic theory, like Harry Hess, main contribution in the plate tectonic theory and seafloor spreading is given by the Harry Hess. Okay, but different scholars are also important, like Morgan. Okay, so plate tectonic theory, what a plate tectonic theory is saying. So firstly, understand the plate tectonic theory in a brief time. So plate tectonic theory is the theory where different parts of the earth is divided into small plates. Plates are the segment of lithosphere. Plates is the segment of lithosphere, or you can say 100 kilometer. Suppose it is the crust, it is the mantle, and this is the core. So it is the upper limit of crust and upper limit of the mantle lithosphere. So this is the segment of the land. So plates are the segment of the land, and the earth is divided into several plates, major and minor. Major, we have 7 to 10 major plates which is moving, okay, in its own speed. And because of the movement of different plates and the different relationships with plate, like divergent plate, convergent plate, or transform plate, we have different topographies. So it is the basic theme of plate tectonics, that we have different plates, and by the movement of plates we have different landforms. Okay, so they explained the origin of Himalayas with the plate theory as well. So what they said, that the formation of Himalaya is also done by the plates done by the Indian and Australian plate. As we already know how Himalayas is formed, when the Indian plate collided with Asian plate, and Indian plate got under the Asian plate, and all the sediments present above the Asian plate compressed in uh, times four times and four regions. So that's why we have four ranges of Himalaya, and we have a foreland or a backland which is known as the Tibetan Plateau. Okay, we can see the sediment deposits or the sediments present in the Himalayan region. That's why we can easily say that the formation of Himalayas is done by the Tethys Sea. Okay, that's why all the classic theories and all the modern theories included Tethys Sea. So we have different times for different plates, different zones. Okay, so it is started in 120 million years ago, and different plates formed in different time. So as you all know that India was not part of the Laurasia in past. It was a part of Gondwana land. It was a part of southern land. Okay, it was not part of Laurasia. It was the part of Gondwana land, and when it is broke down and start moving up, okay, then the formation of Himalayas started when the sediments present in the Tethys Sea compressed. Okay, and the sediments in the Tethys Sea was dropped by different Asian and Indian rivers. Okay, so from time to time this Indian plate is moving northward and went under the Asian plate. So here we know that we can divide India, we can divide the Himalayan range in three ranges basically: the Himalayan range, the Trans-Himalayan range, and the Eastern Hills. So Himalayan range include the three ranges: Great Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, or Lesser Himalaya. Trans-Himalaya include four ranges: Ladakh, Jaskar, Kailash, or Karakoram. Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, or Kailash range. Or Eastern Hills, we have different Eastern Hills as well, like Patkai Boom, like Patkai Hills, okay, and Mizo Hills. So we will talk all about this. Okay, so let's start from south, then we will go to the north. Okay, so we are starting from the south and we are starting with the Shivaliks and we will end with Karakoram. Okay, so first we will discuss the southernmost range Shivalik, then we will discuss the middle, then we will discuss the greater Himalaya, then we will discuss the trans Himalaya, and after that we will discuss the northeast or Purvanchal hills. They are known as Purvanchal because they are present in the northeast part of India. Okay, so the Shivalik hills is the outermost layer, okay, of the Himalayas and also known as Shivaliks. So the hogbag appearance, okay, understand what is hogbag appearance. Basically all India, all Himalayan ranges follow this pattern mostly. Okay, what is hogbag? That it is steeper from the southern side and gentle in the northern side. Okay, so the Himalayan range is very steep from Indian side and very gentle from the northern side. Like it is steeper in this area and very gentle in this area. That's why most people climbed Mount Everest from northern slope. No one yet conquered the Himalaya from the southern slope. Okay, that's why no one climbed the Himalaya from southern side because it is very steep. You cannot climb Mount Everest from southern side. All the people climbed Mount Everest from the northern side or the side from China, okay, or Tibetan side. So this is known as hogback topography. Okay, so it is in hogback appearance and it is the continuous range from for 2400 kilometer. It got discontinued in this part of Sikkim because of the Tista river, okay, or the valley of Tista river. Okay, okay, so Shivalik is known as different names in different regions. So in Jammu hills and Kashmir hills, okay, Jammu hills in Jammu, so the Shivalik is known as Jammu hills, Jammu hills in Jammu and Kashmir region, okay, and it is known as Dafla, Miri, Abor and Mishmi as we already discussed. Okay, Dafla, Mikir, Boro, Ebony hills in this area, Arunachal Pradesh area. Okay, and Jammu hills in this area, Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, and it is known as Dangs range and Dudhwa range in Uttarakhand, and it is known as Churai Ghat in Nepal. Okay, it is known as Churai Ghat hills in Nepal. So remember the names and the regional name of Shivalik. It starts from Jammu hills, then it is known as Dudhwa range in Uttarakhand, and then Churai Ghat in Nepal. Then we have Dafla, Mikir, Abor and Mishmi hills, and these are the name of Shivaliks in different range of different parts of India. Okay, you can easily see the difference of the height in this diagram where the greater Himalaya is very high in comparison of Shivalik. You can easily see the difference between the height of Shivalik and the greater Himalaya. So they formed as syncline, anticline, syncline, anticline and syncline anticlinal form. Okay, where this is the Himalayan ranges and this is the gap. Okay, and it is formed in 4 different time zones by the 4 different sediments present in the Tethys Sea. So it is the height comparison. You can easily see the Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya and Shivalik Himalayas and the difference between the height. And this is the height of Ganga Plains, which is already plain, and this is the height of Trans Himalaya. You can see Ladakh range, which is part of Trans Himalaya, Kailash range, and it is Tibet Plateau. And this is Kunlun, which is a Himalaya range in Asia. Okay, you can easily compare this. It is a tableland. Tibet is a tableland, and the tableland start discontinuing and becoming hill in Kailash range, then Ladakh range in Trans Himalaya, then we have the highest Great Himalayas, then we have Middle Himalaya, then we have Shivaliks, and then plain. Okay. As Shivalik hills were formed after the formation of Himalayas, understand this thing, okay? Because the Shivalik is the end part. Shivalik formed after Great Himalaya, and Middle Himalaya is already formed. So the Great Himalaya is formed, okay? Middle Himalaya is formed, and Shivalik is still in its formation when the river from Greater Himalayas and Middle Himalayas is flowing, and Shivalik act as a barrier. Shivalik act as a barrier for this river and form a small lakes. Okay, I hope you can understand that. See, because these range are developed and this range is still going up or rising, rivers originating from this range and river originating from this range is stopped by the Shivalik range, and small lakes is formed in this area, okay, where Shivalik stopped the water coming from different rivers and they created a lake, okay. In between the Middle Himalaya or Shivalik, they created a lake. When the lake is filled up with the sediments brought by the rivers, then this area, and when the sediment is totally filled this lake, the river cuts its path from Shivaliks and start flowing. So the lake which is filled by the sediments become dunes, okay. By this process you have plains in between the hills. I hope you can understand this thing, that because the lakes is filled with the sediments, that's why the river started cutting the Shivaliks and moved, okay. But this part is left out and this part is plain in between the Middle Himalaya or the Shivaliks, okay. By this process the dunes are formed, okay, and we have different dunes in the Himalayan region. So it is known as dune or dwars, okay. It is known as dune and dwars. So it is known as dune or dunes in west and dwars in eastern part of Himalaya. Like we have Himalaya, in the western part it is known as dunes, and in western part it is known as dune, in eastern part it is known as dwars, okay. So Dehradun is one of the most famous dunes present in this region, okay, which is 75 kilometer long and 15 to 20 kilometer wide. So in starting of the formation of dune, there must be a lake which was 75 kilometer long and 15 to 20 kilometer wider in width, okay. That's why today we have this large dune, okay. And some of the other dunes are also very famous, okay. like Kotaha, Patli, Chumbi. Okay, or you can see the example in this. So let's we have finished the Shivaliks. Let's move northward from the Shivaliks and go to the middle Himalaya. Okay. So middle Himalaya system range, it is 60 to 80 kilometer wide and having an elevation of 3500 to 4500 meters. Okay. So this is the range which is also known as different names in different parts. So we have Pir Panjal, Dholadhar, Mishmi, Masuri, and Nag Tibba. Okay. So if you see in this part, we have middle Himalaya. Okay, we have middle Himalaya. Here we have Shivaliks. Here we have greater Himalaya. So in middle Himalaya, now we are talking about middle Himalaya and ranges. So in middle Himalaya, in this region, Jammu and Kashmir region, this is known as Pir Panjal. This is known as Pir Panjal. After this, it is known as Dholadhar range. Okay. First, it is known as Pir Panjal in Jammu and Kashmir part. From Indus to 3 kilometer, this is known as Pir Panjal range. After that, this range is continued in the name of Dholadhar. Dholadhar. Okay. And after crossing the Satluj, we have two small ranges and the continuation of Dholadhar range, which is known as Masuri range in Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalaya, and Nag Tibba hills. Okay. So we have Pir Panjal, Dholadhar, Nag Tibba, and Masuri range. Hill station of Masuri is present in this range. Okay. Then the hill is still continue. in the name of Mahabharata Lake. In the name of Mahabharata Lake. Okay. So I hope it is clear the names of the middle Himalaya. Okay. Then we have different hills from Shivaliks. Okay. Firstly, we have Pir Panjal, then Dholadhar, then Nag Tibba, then Masuri, then Mahabharata range. After that, we have small hills from Shivaliks. Okay. So here we can easily see Pir Panjal, Dholadhar, Mikir, Nag Tibba, Masuri and Nag Tibba, Mahabharata range. Okay. So Pir Panjal is the most longest river, most longest range in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. It starts from Upper Byas, extend from Jhelum river to Upper Byas river, and it is 400 kilometer in extension. Okay. And we have some of the important passes in Pir Panjal range, like the Pir Panjal Pass and the Banihal Pass. Okay. So Pir Panjal continues in the name of Dholadhar range. Okay. Passing through Dalhousie, Dharamshala, and Shimla. Okay. So the three hill stations, Dalhousie, Dharamshala, and Shimla, is present in Dholadhar range. Okay. Not in Pir Panjal. Okay. And the height of the Pir Panjal and the Dholadhar range is in between 4000 meters. Okay. So after that, it is continued, the Dholadhar range continued in the name of Mussoorie and Nagtibba. The hill stations of Mussoorie, Nainital, Chakharta and Ranikhet is present in this range. Okay. Mahabharata range is the continuation of Mussoorie Hills in Nepal. Okay. In the sense, in the conclusion of this, we can say that the middle Himalaya is most loved by the humans, okay, or most inhabitable part of the Himalaya, because all the hill stations, all the places, beautiful places is present in this part, and all the hill stations like Mussoorie, Simla, the Dalhousie, okay, Nainital, Ranikhet is present in the middle Himalaya, okay. So because the greater Himalayas is very high and the Shivaliks is very low, middle Himalaya form a beautiful place for human settlement or human who want to settled in cold places. Okay. Now let's talk about the greatest range of not India but around the world. Across the world, it is the greatest range. The average height is more than 6,100 meters and the average width is about 25 kilometer. Okay. The width is getting narrower and narrower and the height is getting increased. Okay. Because it is compressing. That's why the width is very low, but the height is very high. Okay. This in this zone, Greater Himalaya, you can find the sediments. You can find the sediments of granite and gneiss. Okay, and you can also find a metamorphosed sediments which got metamorphosed because the plate movement. Okay, and the heat generated by the plate movements. And it is also a hogback. Okay, steep in south and gentle in north, is steep from India and gentle from the side of China and Tibet. Okay, I hope this is clear. So we have different points or different mountain peaks, and one of the main and most important peak is Everest. So it is the highest peak of the world and it is named after the George Everest, which was the Surveyor General of India in the time of 1841. And Sir George Everest, first time located Mount Everest in map. Okay, that's why to honor him, the name Sir George Everest, or sorry, to honor the Sir George Everest, the name Everest is taken. Okay, before Everest it was known as Peak 15. Okay, in 1865 the name was changed from Peak 15 to Everest. Okay, but but the China wants that the name of Peak 15 was given as Kuomlongma. Okay, Kuomlongma means the mother of the world, and Chinese is saying that the Qing dynasty already noticed Mount Everest and mapped it. Okay, but the name is still given to the in the name of Sir George Everest. Okay, but China is claiming that we know the Mount Everest from very past and the name must be given by according to China, but it has not happened. Okay, and not just the Mount Everest, we have different and the largest peaks present in this, like Annapurna, Naga Devi, Nanda Devi, sorry, Kamet, Namcha Barwa. Okay, these are the very important peaks. Some of the deepest pass is also present, like Burzila Pass, Zozila Pass. In Jammu Kashmir, we have Baralancha Pass or Shipkila Pass. Okay, in Himachal Pradesh. So now let's talk about the northernmost layer, which is known as the Trans Himalaya. As you already know, we have four ranges in Trans Himalaya: Karakoram range, Zaskar range, Ladakh range, and Kailash range. Okay, so this region is 40 km wide. Okay, this is present here: Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, or Kailash range. Okay, Zaskar range branched into different ranges. Zaskar range and the running parallel to its north of the Zaskar we have Ladakh, okay, which is running parallel to it. It is Zaskar range. North of the Zaskar we have Ladakh range, which is going parallel to the Zaskar range, okay. And here we have some of the Ladakh plateau is also present here, okay. And parallel to the Ladakh range, we have Karakoram range, where the Mount K2 is present, which is the highest peak of India, and we have several glaciers as well, like Siachen Glacier. Look, if you consider LOC as a part of India, then K2 is the highest peak of India. If you don't consider LOC as a part of India, then Kanchenjunga is the highest peak of India. Okay, always remember this. If you consider this as a united India, then K2 is the highest peak of India. If you don't consider this part, then Kanchenjunga is the highest peak of India. So after that we have Kailash range, which is in part of Tibet or China. Okay, some of the important rivers is originating from this range, like Indus is originating from this range, and different tributaries of Indus is also originating from this range. So this range is very important in terms of water divide. Okay, so in Ladakh plateau we have Aksai Chin region as well. Okay, now let's talk about the eastern hills. Okay, so here we have Greater Himalaya, here we have Middle Himalaya, here we have Lesser Himalaya, and smaller parts of Lesser Himalaya like Abor, Mishmi, Mikir ranges. But now we will talk about the easternmost range and the Purvanchal range. Okay, this is known as Purvanchal because it is present in the northeast part of India, and it is the syntaxial bent of Himalaya. Okay, because Himalaya is got bend very deeply, that's why this is known as syntaxial bend. Okay, so don't consider it as another range, it is part of Himalaya. Okay, it is part of Himalaya, but these ranges are very low or very low in height. Okay, because they cannot attain, because they didn't directly compressed with the Asian plate, that's why their height is very low, because they are not in direct contact of the compression. Okay, that's why they are very high, very low ranges. Okay, very low ranges. First is Patkai Boom. Patkai Boom. Second is Nanga Hills. Then we have Mizo Hills, or we have Lusai Hills. Okay, so see carefully that all the ranges is forming a boundary of northeast India to Myanmar. Okay, so all these ranges from Patkai Boom, Naga Hill, and Mizoram Hill, sorry, Mizo Hills or Lusai Hills is forming a boundary between the Myanmar and the northeastern India. Okay. Okay then. From north to the south. Okay. So this is forming. Generally these are lesser than 2500 meters. Okay, between, they create boundary between different northeastern states and Myanmar. The range, Barail range, separate Naga Hill and the Manipur Hill. Okay, the Barail Hill is separating the Naga Hills and Mizoram Hills, and then it is going in a direction of west. Okay, from east to west, and form a mountain of Garo, Khasi and Jantia. Okay, so Barai Hills is separating the Naga Hills from Mizo Hills, and then it is continued in the form of Jantia, Khasi and Garo Hills. Okay, and this is the area of extension of plateau region. Okay, so this is Chota Nagpur plateau, and this is the extension of the plateau which is known as Meghalaya plateau, and it is separated by the trench or a deep known as Malda Gap. Malda Gap. Okay, and this gap is filled by the sediments brought by Brahmaputra and Ganga. So this is the part of actually central highlands. Okay, but the Barai Hills is following, and this is the continuation of the hill. Okay, so so this is the part of central India, but you can see the continuing pattern. Okay, okay, so we have done with this. We talked about different ranges in Trans Himalaya. We have talked about the Greater Himalaya, Middle Himalaya, Shivaliks and Northeastern Hills. Okay, you just have to remember the names of the range and the location and the regional name of the land. Okay, regional name of the ranges. And we can also divide the Himalaya in second type, and now we are talking about the second type, that from Indus to Satluj we have we have Jammu and Kashmir Himalaya, or Punjab Himalaya you can say, but mostly it is known as Jammu and Kashmir Himalaya, or you can also say Punjab Himalaya. In Satluj to Kali we have Kumaon or Himachal Himalaya. From Kali to Nepal we have Nepal Himalayas. From Tista to Brahmaputra we have Assam Himalayas. Okay, here we have 4 divisions, and then we have Northeastern Hills running north to south from Brahmaputra. Okay, so in Kashmir the highest peak K2 is present, and highest glaciers is present in the ranges of Trans Himalaya, and we have 4 Trans Himalayas in this range: Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, and we have Pir Panjal, which is present in Middle Himalaya. Okay, so we have ranges from Trans Himalaya, Middle Himalaya and Greater Himalaya in this region. Okay, and this region is famous for its Kashmir Valley or Dal Lake. Kashmir Valley is in between the Pir Panjal and Zaskar range. Okay, it is in between the Zaskar range and the Pir Panjal range, and this is the most beautiful valley considered in the world. Okay, and the Dal Lake is also very famous for tourist spots. Okay, glaciers like Baltoro and Siachen is the world's largest and highest glaciers. Consider one of them. Okay, okay. Then in Kashmir you have formation of Karewa. Okay, I hope you already know about the formation of Karewa. Let's discuss this. When glacier is moving from hills and the sediment is moving with the glacier, and the glacier deposit the sediment brought by the hills in a valley. This fine this fine sediment this fine sediments from glacier is known as karevas, and karevas is the soil which is very fertile and used for cultivation of saffron. Okay, the lake Vuller is also very famous. Okay, let's move to that Himalaya, because the height of Himalayas is very high in this region, so many sports and adventure tourism is also famous, like bungee jumping, paragliding is famous. Okay, and pilgrim space, the spaces of worship is also present, like Vaishno Devi and Amarnath cave is present here. Okay, and we have different dunes present in there. Okay, this range is Kashmir region. Okay, understand, from Indus to Satluj. And now let's move to the Himachal and Uttarakhand Himalaya. Okay, so Himachal Himalaya is from Satluj to Kali, and this is the home of Himalayas three ranges. Okay, all three ranges. In this region, you have Greater Himalaya as well, Middle Himalaya as well, and Shivalik Himalayas as well. Okay, and the most important thing is the formation of dune in this area. Okay, we have larger dune here like Dehradun and Pathankot dune. Okay, but we also have some of the beautiful hill stations present in this zone. Okay, present in the Middle Himalaya, like we have Shimla, Mussoorie, Nainital, Palankhet. Okay, this region is very famous for tourism, because the most hill stations is present here. Okay, Mussoorie, we have Shimla, we have Kasoni. Okay, Dharamshala. Mussoorie is present in the Mussoorie hills. Okay, Almora present here. Okay, and we have 5 famous Prayags. We have 5 famous Prayags: Rudraprayag, Indraprayag, Nandaprayag, Karnaprayag, or Vishnuprayag. Okay. Then we have Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya. Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya is this area. Okay, where it is west side is covered by Nepal and its east side is covered by the Bhutan. In between the Nepal and the Bhutan, we have Sikkim, and the Himalayan ranges present in this area form the Sikkim Himalaya. Sikkim Himalaya is very famous because of the highest peaks present in here, like Kanchenjunga, and the highest ranges is present here, the Greater Himalaya and the Middle Himalaya. Remember, the Shivalik is not here. Okay, the range Shivalik is not here because the river Tista eroded the Shivalik range and made its own valley here. Okay, so this region of Sikkim is known as Sikkim Himalaya. Okay, absence of Shivalik and Dwar formation, okay, is important here. Okay, Tista river is the main river and Kanchenjunga is the main peak here. Okay, and the Lepcha tribe is living here and tea plantation is done. Tea plantation is very popular here. Okay, so these are the some characteristics of this region. Now we will talk about the Arunachal Himalaya. These are the extension of East Bhutan to Thimphu Pass. So here from Bhutan in the west and Dipshu Pass is in the east. Now we have Arunachal Himalaya here. Okay, here we have 4 different ranges of Shivalik: Miri, Ebor, Mishmi, or okay, Arunachal Himalaya. Great mountain ranges are present here: Namcha Barwa. Okay, Okay. The gorges is also present here. Okay. Like the Dihang Gorge. Some of the important rivers is also present like Dihang, Dibang and Lohit, which is the tributary of Brahmaputra in this region. Because this region is very high and the speed of the rivers is very high in this region, so this region is most popular and most have most potential for hydroelectric projects. Okay, that's why China is constructing hydroelectric project in this region, because in this region the speed of the rivers is very high, and India is also constructing some of the dams here to to generate hydroelectricity from this area. Okay, uh, some of the tribes is also living like Monpa, Dafla, Ebor, Mishmi, Nisi. Okay, these are the tribes in which the name of a small Sivalik range is named after. Okay, then we have eastern hills and mountains where we have Patkai Boom, Naga, Mizo, okay, and these ranges forming the boundary with Myanmar, okay. These are low hills inhabited by number of tribal peoples, most inhabited part of India by tribal people. Mountain range are separated from each other by number of small rivers. So number of small rivers is cutting in between the mountain range to divide. Okay, and river and Loktak Lake is very famous lake which is present in between the mountains, and it is very beautiful. Okay, so by this we have completed all the four ranges and all the different parts like Jammu and Kashmir Himalaya, Uttarakhand Himalaya, Nepal Himalaya, Bhutan Himalaya, Arunachal Himalaya and Eastern Hills. Okay, so I hope you have understood the origin and the explanation of all the things. So I hope this will help you in your preparation. So thanks for listening, and if you want to purchase anything you can go to the app. Okay, Bhavyam Classes Delhi app, and you can buy the any pack. Okay, thank you for listening. If you have any doubts or question, leave in the comment box. I'll try to answer. Okay, thank you.